Of course, the main driver is the e-commerce demand. Amazon buying via the internet, that's the main key driver of the logistic market. It's the biggest risk for retail, of course. It will diversificate a lot. But the logistic market will earn a fortune with that. We see in Germany, of course, because of the strong economy, import-export is the second driver for the logistic market. But the big opportunity we see at the moment is the trend. You do not want to wait for 3 days for your good when you put the click. It should be in the evening in your house. So what will happen is we will see much more of these cross-dock one-day delivery hubs. That means smaller sheds for sprinters where the goods are coming in and then delivered directly on the same day into the individual private houses. Of course, the investment on such a cross-dock hall is much smaller, as the capacity is also much smaller. But we will see from DHL or from Hermes in the next years huge portfolios, let's say of 5 to 10 of these sheds, which then might be interesting concerning the investment volume for international investors. And the main point is it's the delivery of the future, and we will see 10, 15-year lease contracts, sell and leasebacks, and this is again from DHL, fantastic tenant, or from others which have a fantastic position in that market. It's security, it's safe rental income for a long period of time with a quite simple product. So this is a big opportunity and a trend we see, especially in Germany.
We've raised just under 250 million of equity from predominantly German investors to put into the logistics market. We're offering a strategy that looks at shorter leases. So we're taking a bit of letting risk during our holding period. But why have German investors, institutional investors, come to us? Because it's a sector they're not really in the past had a look at, and it's purely for yield. We saw the slide from Matthias about the bond yields. Property is still in the prime locations, perhaps delivering 4% on 100% equity. But if you go into a different sector, you can get yields of 6, 7, and we're offering here 8% cash on cash returns, which at the moment is deliverable quite easily. We've got quite a lot of Luft, as we say in German, to deliver on those types of returns. There are certainly a Premier League of hubs, or say Champions League hubs, Premier League, and it goes down. And there are providers in the market who will give you a lovely little coloured diagram showing you where you should focus your investment, and we stick to that.
Okay, good. Marcus, have you got a view on the logistics market?
Yeah, we are actually also looking at the market in detail for some of our investors, as we think, but also currently with a partner, as we think you need a quite good connection to the logistics operators to really be able to fill the sheds with tenants to that time. And at the end, no matter what you're looking at, it comes down to connectivity. Do you have access to to the road network? So you don't have to be in the city center, but you just have to be near the road that leads into the city center, and that should not be congested most of the time. So also, when it comes to access to road networks, that it has to be close in the sense that there should be no traffic lights, no large intersections in between that can block the traffic flowing in and out of the sheds. So that is the main point at the end that comes down. If you're near one of the intersection of the autobahns, that's quite convenient, because then you can go north, south, east, west quite easily. So that's for the bigger ones. But if you look for the smaller cross-docking stations, the question is, where can you get it operating in the near the city limits, where you have planning permission for these kind of things? That is a big issue, where you have to be aware of that. Depending on what type of neighbors are around, what kind of neighborhoods are around these locations, it can be very tricky to operate these kind of things within the urbanization areas.
Okay, so does that mean people will need to look for something that is already built and convert, or where's the opportunity there? I mean,
that's sometimes easier to realize if there is an existing storage facility, it's easier to convert them just to build some new facility within the urbanization areas. If you look for the big storage sites, they are outside the urban areas anyway, and that's not a big issue. But if you want to build some of these cross-docking stations within urban areas, if you have existing brownfields, to convert them is much easier than to try to get a building permit for a completely new one.
Okay, good. And you also see this growth in, which is happening a lot more in the UK, certainly, just in terms of same day or very early next day delivery, which means that you've got to create smaller hubs closer into the main points of population.
I would definitely see that, but at the other end, you also need these smaller hubs in the urban areas, as congestion is getting more and more of an issue, although on the German road network. So you need to be close to your customer, because otherwise you cannot guarantee a 24-hour delivery anymore, because simply the risk of getting stuck into a traffic jam increases considerably in Germany, given that more and more people are driving, more and more trucks are on the road. You have road work in nearly all major cities. So to really keep the promise of 24-hour delivery, you need to be closer to the customer in one or the other way with smaller trucks, because that makes it easier for you to move around.